All right, we are starting the ice tank install. Step 1, pull light panel from carpet and disconnect all connectors. Remove all push clips and wing nuts to remove carpet.
Let's do it. All right, so to take the front trunk, if you will, out, you need to get access by removing the side panel right here, and you can just slide a finger under it. It's just going to be a pull tab, so we're just going to pull straight out. There's another one right here, and then there's one more back there, and then that one is out. We come over to this side, same thing. I'm just going to push my finger down under it, pull it back. Just that one, and then this one is just push clips as well. You just need to get it up over this, and then this is going to give you a little resistance down, but we're just going to slide it up. If you guys just saw that it does have two push clips, well, had two push clips in the back.
Huh.
Yeah, I noticed that.
And this he was referring to is the windshield wiper fluid reservoir.
The front trim piece is just push clips too. I'm going to pull this way to clear, and then you're just going to pull up.
And we're out.
Now we have these two Torx bits or star heads on either side. T30 to remove. Alright, and then we have on the inside these push pins to remove. Now we have the two 10mm nuts on either side that we're going to remove. The next thing is the electrical connection, but to get to it, it's kind of see it. I have it disconnected right now. That push clip, to remove it, it's just a clip that you push down and then you push the top of it and separate. And then to remove this, I thought the light on the side here was going to be removed, but when I started prying on it, it felt like it was giving me more resistance than I felt comfortable with on prying. So once we removed that, we decided that we were going to lift it up to see where the connection was. But as you can tell, the light right here, the connection just comes around to that front. So that's it to get the box out.
The frunk is out.
Step number 2 says to install the electric drain valve to the tank bottom outlet using the supplied fittings. It says to be sure to use thread sealant, but this is already assembled for us, so.
It looks like they use sealant. It's got that look to it. Alright, so he's measuring 5 1/8 up the back wall of the frunk, and we drew a line. We have drilled our ports, but what we did after that was placed the water tank in the front and centered it front, back, and side to side.
Like the song.
Front, back, side to side.
Your song is different than mine.
Yeah, I know. Drilled the holes, but as you can see, they're lining up.
And it's not completely flat yet because there's another hole that we got to drill on the bottom for that one.
Alright. So then we marked on step 5, it says mark center line of passenger side tank port through the line made in step 2. Then measure 10.5 inches over to mark the center line of the remaining tank port. Using a 1.5 to a 2-inch hole saw, drill out the center points you just made. So we drew a line on the carpet, we lined it up, measured 10.5 inches over for the center line, and then drilled through for the drain ports.
Now we got to remove these bottom access panels, which Brandy can bring you in here in a second. There's a bunch of 7mm screws, which I'm sure isn't the correct size, but that's what's working for us. On to the toys.
On to the toys.
The holes that we had to drill in the front for the hoses for the coolant lines right here and here, doing a little bit different than the instructions suggested to do. I left the carpet and the liner intact. I pulled it out. I marked where the holes needed to go, and then I just used 1.5 inch, 2 inch drill bit that cuts a hole. So I drilled through the composite, whatever this is. I don't know if it's fiberglass. It's pretty itchy. You probably should wear a mask and gloves. And then that's the carpet that it drilled through as well. It cut through that. It probably did dull out the bits quite a bit, but it made it much easier for me to be able to get those holes where I needed them to get the hoses through for the coolant lines on the turbos. All right, we're gonna try to do a little bench test to see if we can get our pump to kick on. I think we got the wires set. We just gotta touch our trigger wire here to the positive. I heard something click. It works. It works. Negative, positive. So we had to pop the quarter panel off. There's a bunch of the T15 torque bits. The star heads on top here. There was 2 down on the inside panel. There was a 10mm bolt down in here, right here. And then we had another torch down here. And then the biggest issue that we ran into, or at least my biggest issue, was getting these connections undone, which we want to show you so that way we can clarify with anybody that has an issue with what was going on. Alright, so Brandy was the one that was able to get the clip off.
So I'm going to show you, this is the clip. You don't squeeze or anything. This little white piece goes in. Right here is the little plug that little white piece plugs into. So you don't remove it by any clips. It just pulls out.
This right here, this little clip, you just press either side in on it, and then you're able to pull that down.
The quarter panel's off, and now we have to get to the fan. Now we're going to remove the factory fan assembly. Remove fan, 10mm bolt, and J-nut, 2 rubber isolators, 2 push clips, and a shroud.
We're a little bit in a tight fit, but this is that shroud that we're going to be pulling out and transferring over to this guy. And that is going to go back in place over here.
Get out.
So don't let it trick you. You don't push on the metal or the black tabs. You just pull down.
Moving the fan, 10mm bolt, and J-nut. The 10mm bolt is on the back of the actual fan, holding it into the shroud.
Right. It just shouldn't be this difficult to just do a piece of plastic out there.
You have this almost out. Crazy, it looks completely different in the pictures. Now it's out. The shroud and the 2 push clips, the 2 rubber isolators, the J-nut. We've installed the fan, shroud, and isolators onto the heat exchange. So the shroud's on the front, and then the back, you'll see where it lines up. You'll be able to figure it out pretty quick. There's a bolt that goes in at the top, and then the two bottom clips. And then
be sure to check the threads. I'm pulling chunks of metal out, and we've not hooked anything up to this. I don't have a die big enough to run over these threads, so I'm just taking a flathead screwdriver and just making sure that the grooves are cleaned out. But there's a lot of material, a lot of metal coming out of the grooves of the threads
on that particular, on the top.
All right, we're gonna install fan radiator unit in the side here. There's two tabs, it looks like, that rubber boots. Probably would have came out a lot easier if we just removed that too.
Right.
Removing that little piece up top right here, and that's so much easier. You gotta get that.
Oh, wow. I wish we would have known that on the removal of the fan.
That's why we're doing the video. For our friends that don't have to go through the same pain we did.
Oh. So he's just putting the bolts back in. This is the shroud that we were talking about that goes on the front too, by the way. It's on the original fan assembly. Okay.
Back in blaze.
Fan assembly complete.
This is that electrical connection that I just clipped in for the fan.
Yep.
Alright, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for the front tank install. So we do have it installed. I got to put the beauty plate on it still. And then we do have our heat exchanger all in place, plumbed up, ready. And then we did run our lines. And this is what the next video is going to be, is going over the front wiring and the air box intercooler install next. So stay tuned.